What's up, guys? Good afternoon, good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Here on a sad Thursday morning. Nothing but dark skies here for the orange and blue. Hence, what I have behind me, exactly what they're playing like. Straight trash. Knicks got beat last night, 102, 122, and they just look completely lost. We've said it time and time again. I knew this was going to happen. I said that defensively they were going to come out flat. Nobody offensively the stats they look okay. Defensively, they just didn't have it together. It was just horrible. They're like a G League team on the defensive end. Tired of the excuses. Evan Fournier, a stomach bug, and this and that, and the team needs to look at themselves in the mirror. And like I said before, enough is enough, and I'm done. I'm Juby the Tubi. You're here with family above everything, and we're gonna bring in Zenray from Zenray Sports TV. Me and him were talking last night, and we text message, and we were just in disbelief on the kind of energy and the defense that was shown last night. Mitchell Robinson didn't even show up. Taj Gibson, waste of 19 minutes played. Obi Toppin, 12 minutes again, even though he had a pretty decent game. It's just all in all, defensively, they look horrible. But I'll bring my partner here, Zenray, and we'll see what he got to say and see if he's finally on board with me to abandon ship.
Where's the best part of the floor we like to shoot from? There is no chemistry, and oil and water does not mix. And that's what's going on with this unit. Juby, welcome.
What's up, Zenray? How you doing, brother?
Welcome to the show, and we're talking about a little science here today. And
hold on, I think my garbage is getting full. Hold on one second. The Nick trash is just full of garbage right now. All the defense is right in there right now. I don't know which side, the offense, the defense. Just terrible. But I didn't. My partner texted me last night and was like, "Let's do a show at 11:30." I closed the TV. I was like, "I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of the excuses, stomach bug, and Evan Fournier. And we got to look at ourselves in the mirror. It's time to take out the trash. That's what it's time for."
So the Knicks lose 122 to 102 last night, and look, if this does not wake up the organization, it's probably one of the most embarrassing losses that you've seen. I mean. Look, you and I can go and pick up four other guys, and you could pick up four other guys. I say, Juby, meet me down the street. We're going to do a pickup game. Obviously, we're not going to know each other's tendencies. We don't know where to be on the court. Obviously, we don't expect great games, but that's what it felt last night. Like, they went out the streets of New York City, and they picked up some fellas from the street to come on the court and play. And look, let's not bash the whole team collectively. This has to do with, like, Thibodeau and Leon Rose has to be seeing this problem. Oil and water does not mix. You're either going to go young and let Obi be in there and let him play. He's the only guy that I saw there that's the energizer guy. Let him play. You didn't have Noel.
Taj Gibson.
Taj Gibson is, and you didn't have Mitchell Robinson. Taj Gibson is not the answer. You might as well go with, look, I don't understand. Like, Indiana's having this fire sale, I think, to shake up the team. How a unit of Sabonis, Turner, Brogdon, LeVert, and Darte, that starting unit, I would take in a heartbeat.
That's the name of the rookie that we were talking about yesterday. The last show was Chris Darte. Great. Look, lit us up.
He is good. He is good, and that's why he was picked so high, and the Knicks had no chance of picking up unless they did something amazing in the draft, which they didn't. They picked some good players up that we're happy with. But look, Julius Randle, as much as he played his heart out last night, he had 5 turnovers, a minus 22. He's trying to take this game personal against Sabonis. There's no need. If you would have played the game you played the night before where you distributed, it's up to you, to make this team come together. Something has to give. You have to give Obi Toppin the keys and let him start. If it was up to me at this point, Julius Randle is the issue here. He's the issue. He's the issue,
Ooh.
Julie, because at this
Ooh.
point, he's trying to push the ball down people's throats. One night he'll pass the ball out. One night he wants to do his thing. The chemistry is not good. And then Fournier is lost. I mean, this guy is probably one of the worst games I've seen Fournier. And you know, Fournier, I'm sorry. Don't say that you ate a bad steak in San Antonio after the game, because that's not gonna cut it. Just say you had a bad game, whatever, because it makes you look like Roberto. Who's the fighter that told Sugar Ray, "Look, I ate a bad meal and I lost the fight against you." Look,
Listen,
I didn't want to hear that.
horrible, horrible effort. Robin Fournier with 7 points, not only on the offensive side, defensively, he was stumbling and bumbling. Like I like to say it, lost in the F sauce. Just horrible. I don't even know what to say. It. Taj Gibson had 18 minutes, waste of 18 minutes, in my opinion. And I know that a lot of guys like Taj Gibson. He brings a lot of leadership and veteran to the team. But when the guy is not giving you anything and you got 18 minutes and all you have is 4 rebounds and nothing else, sit him down. You know what I mean? Like, Derrick Rose is off his game. Emmanuel quickly was missing shots. If you look at the stats offensively, the Knicks didn't look too bad when you look at the stat sheet. Julius Randle, what he had, 19, 18. RJ Barrett, same thing. But it's just defensively, the guys just don't want to move. It's like they got 2 left feet. I don't know what's going on. There's no energy. Obi Toppin, like you said, you called it perfectly, right? Obi Toppin was the only man who you see that he wants to play. He wants to shine. He wants to be given the opportunity. I mean, look at the stuff he's doing even on a fast break. Did he need to put that between his legs and dunk it? No, he
That was
didn't.
the highlight. That was the highlight of the Knicks between him and Barrett. Barrett making those shots toward the end. If it was for Barrett's third quarter, the Knicks would have been blown out by 30, 40 points in
They're
this game.
down by 30 at one point. It was just ridiculous. How you give up 70 something points in the first half? I mean, that's just unacceptable. I mean, right now we might as well throw the whole NBA team to the G League, Westchester Knicks, and bring up the Westchester Knicks to come and play for us in the NBA, because right now defensively, this team just can't cut it. And we always say that we jump ahead of ourselves as Knicks fans, that we want to bash them when they're down because we're the most intelligent fan base in the world. But at the same time, when is enough? Enough with the excuses, and he's not doing this and he's not doing that. Collectively, as a team, as a unit, they're just not cutting it.
Look, Darte Turner led their teams 122-102. Listen, Chris Darte, what more can we say about the guy? I still don't understand how they want to make changes on that team when their front five, I think, is better than the Knicks anytime. There's no one. Like, who's better than Chris Darte on the Knicks right now? Comparable. Maybe you could put Barrett there. Maybe. Who's better than Miles Turner? You're not going to put Mitchell Robinson. Who's better than Sabonis? Sabonis is almost as good as Randall. If you put Miles Turner, there's no one in the Knicks who's a Miles Turner.
No.
Okay,
Right.
and we still didn't get to Brogdon. Who's better than Brogdon? We don't have a Brogdon. That unit, if you switch that unit to the Knicks and Thibodeau's coaching, the Knicks will have. That's a team that has some kind of chemistry. They have an identity. The Knicks, look, Indiana 11-17. There's a team that you had a game that you couldn't beat. Now, listen, I understand it's back-to-back nights. Fine. Then bring Grimes in. Bring McBride in. Bring someone to bring Jet. Some kind of look. At this point, imagine if you would have put Obi, McBride. You would have put Grimes in there. That team would have been energized, and I bet you. The game would have been much closer, and we probably had a chance of winning that game. And you put Barrett in that unit. You have to start bringing these young kids along somehow. Listen, in my opinion, I've seen enough of Randall. Not because he's a bad player. I think he could run a team, and he does. But he cannot be the guy running the show. It has to be Barrett. Barrett is the future. I think they made their bet too early by signing Randall to that big contract. And I think right now it's looking like Fournier does not fit in this mix with Randall. I think if you bring somebody else, get Randall out of there, Fournier can play a much better game, regardless if he had a bad stake or not. Look, we need more continuity, and Randall is the guy who has the bad energy. I mean, that San Antonio game, you saw it, Juby. he played smart. There are games he does that, and there's some games he tries to go one-on-one against the world.
Yeah. Listen,
Barrett is the guy, Mario.
us making the playoffs last season was great, but at the same time, it made things worse. Julius Randle got the bag because he brought us to the playoffs last season. If it weren't for that, I think they would have let him walk for the amount of money that he was asking. I do think you're right. I think they did jump the gun 100%, giving him that $110 million. And Julius Randle is a Robin to a Batman. He is not the Batman. He's not. He shouldn't have the keys to Gotham. Like he wants to. He is talented. He's a very talented player. I think he would thrive under a team like if you had another star, legitimate superstar like a Giannis and Julius Randle. Even though they play the same, I'm not talking about positions. I'm talking about name and skill. Giannis and Randle, Steph Curry and Randle. Randle would be phenomenal and a team
Even a
like that.
Lillard, even a Lillard and Randle in Portland.
Lillard and Randle would be great. But Randle being the guy and then a bunch of young guys, definitely not working. I don't know what's gonna happen. This team right now. If this was last season, we would sit here and say, "Listen, the team it's a work in progress. Let the young guys play," and we would be okay with it. But because we had the season that we had last season, now we're all upset, and that's the problem. If we feel like that, think of it from a management point of view. Look at Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau. They must be like, wait a minute. Last season we were doing this. We supposedly upgraded our roster with Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. We got shooters, but it seems that we made ourselves worse. I don't know if Evan Fournier's contract is movable. I don't know if Julius Randle's contract is movable. But right now, I'm getting as desperate as put Kemba Walker back in there. Honestly, I know everybody's going to come at me and say, no, he doesn't play. You might as well.
Look, McBride, bring the young guy. Listen, right now we have to take the older guys and bring the young kids here. Look, the Knicks, Barrett led the Knicks with 19 points. Julius Randle had 18 and 8 rebounds. Alex Burke scored 15. Obi had 13. Look, Julius Randle is good. He can't be, look, if you put him on the team, he can't be the focal guy. Barrett has to be the focal guy. He's the face of the franchise. Julius Randle, look, I'm not saying, I don't know. Julius Randle is so confusing. One game is Jekyll and Hyde. He's like, but he does not mix with this unit. He doesn't mix with these young guys. He doesn't mix with Barrett because Barrett flourishes in that second unit.
Yeah. And what the craziest number for me, and I don't know if you feel like this, Ray, Julius Randle had 18, right? To everybody, that's a decent number. But Julius Randle played 31 minutes and had 18 points. Obi Toppin played 20 and had 13 points. So how is it that Obi Toppin is almost doing what Julius Randle is doing? Unless now, if you switch roles and you give those minutes, Obi Toppin can probably do the same thing Julius Randle is doing, just not the jump shot.
He probably would have done it in less minutes. You're right.
So the jump shot is not the same. Obi Toppin has a lot of work when it comes to his jump shot, his ball handling skills as well. But Obi Toppin, in my opinion, has a better back to the basket and driving the ball in and creating than Julius Randle. I honestly think so, and I think you're right. I think R.J. Barrett needs to be the focus of this team, and I think it's time for Julius Randle to take a bow, and we respect him. We thank him for bringing us to the playoffs last season and making our team relevant again. But I think it's time to move on from Julius Randle. I think it's time to start taking some calls for him. Maybe a team that's on the hunt, like the Washington. Honestly, I don't even know what team we can look at that we can benefit from in getting a package. Maybe Portland. Since they're trying to go young too, maybe they'll give us Damian Lillard for Julius Randle and something else and some draft picks. They'll give us Damian, and then you got Damian and RJ. I don't know if that'll work, but it's just time to move on from Julius Randle.
At this point, the management have to get together somehow, because it's easy to say let's fire Tibbs, but Tibbs is trying to do every combination he can. But it always comes down to Julius Randle. His decision making is so erratic Jekyll and Hyde. You can't have a game that you had practically no turnovers to your average five turnover game. I don't care if you score 18 points or whatever the case may be. You have to be consistent and get other players involved and have energy. You can't come and says, his thing is, oh, it's frustrating. We got to move forward.
Look at ourselves in the mirror.
I think everybody was a little drained. Don't make excuses. If you start doing that and you're the leader of the team, you're making excuses not only for yourself, for your team. You can't do that. We just got to be mentally tougher to overcome that. And that starts with you, Julius. That starts with you.
Did you ever see Michael Jordan, even when he had the flu? And I know we're talking about one of the greatest basketball players of all time. My guy played with flu-like symptoms of 103 fever and still produced. Why? Because he played with this, and he played. You know what I mean? And when you come to work and you're half energy, it's gonna show up on the court. So I don't want to. I'm tired of the excuses of looking at. Let's look at ourselves in the mirror. It's just enough.
I agree, and one of the things he mentioned, Thibodeau, is toughness. Like if you go to his press conference, he said, "You just have to have the toughness to get things done." And I think Barrett has that.
Yeah,
Randall has this Jekyll and Hyde. He thinks his game is. You mentioned it well. Like Obi is back to the basket. He does very well. Randall counts on his toughness and his bulliness, whatever. But when he talks about toughness, Tom Thibodeau, he talks about mental toughness, not physical toughness. I'm not saying Randall doesn't have physical toughness. He does, but his mental toughness is not there. And he said it. You're not going to feel your best every night in this league. That's the part of it. Mental toughness.
Yeah, that's a good point. Tom Thibodeau looked kind of frustrated too when Julius Randle picked up that technical foul yesterday. I was watching him in the background and he looked at him like in this. I don't know if he was in disbelief of the call or if he was in disbelief of Julius Randle. Only one can speculate. So
he's got to go. He's doing the same thing over and over again. Randle. He's not getting the calls. He's getting frustrated, and that frustration, that negativity rubs off on the team. That's not a leader.
Yeah.
And I think look, we speculated and we spoke about this that the Knicks have to do something. Obi has to play. Regardless, he has some defensive deficiencies, whatever. But at this point, you have to get your best defenders out there. Obi Toppin's probably not your best defender, but you have to get Grimes out there. Fournier, unfortunately, his defense yesterday, oh my gosh, he was bad. I've never seen after the Kemba Walker was out there, he was bad. But you know what it is? In life, at work, the world is run by politics. And unfortunately, when it comes to NBA teams and NFL organizations and hockey and baseball, it runs by politics. If you're paying a person a certain amount of money, you give them a lot of leeway, and you have to start them. And unfortunately, Randall is one of those guys, and Fournier is one of those guys. That's why you're not going to see him out of the lineup unless like you mentioned, they do something Viva trade. That's the only way you're going to get these guys out of here.
I think I don't want to use the word fire sale because I don't think we're at that level. But I think a semi-fire sale is in the works. Listen, there's a reason that Evan Fournier got let go by Boston very easily. Boston didn't even think twice. So it makes you wonder why did Boston let Fournier go? Why did Boston not try to keep Kemba Walker and they went after Dennis Schroeder? So these are things we have to think of. And on top of that, right now we have to get rid of these players that are not working here, and we have to get rid of players that have some sort of value still left on them. Mitchell Robinson, I know you're a big fan, Ray. I am sometimes too. Mitchell Robinson still has some value. Need to get Mitch out of here. In order to get something, you got to give something. Mitchell Robinson may be in that talk. Julius Randle, Evan Fournier. I don't know who would even touch that contract right now because it's so brand new, and Julius Randle's contract too. But I'm still gonna print. Thank you. I'm still gonna pray on the Damian Lillard thing because Damian Lillard just asked for a 2-year, $170 million extension, and that's what he wants. And Portland is not really willing to give that to him. So If they're not, listen, take Julius Randle. We'll give it to you. We'll give you the 50,000 difference, and we'll make it work. I would love to see Damian Lillard
Yeah.
and
You know
R.J.
something?
Barrett and Obi Toppin.
At this juncture, you have to try something, and if you can pull off something like that and not give away Barrett, and just and to keep Obi because Obi would replace him, and then Manovic can come off the bench as your other power forward. And then right now our situation is a point guard, and if you get Lillard, that resolves your issue right there. That's the bing bong right there.
At least for 3-4 years, that resolves it. And then you got McBride, who's ready. Thank you.
Man, I wish my wife feeds me the way your wife does. Jeez,
That's my sister-in-law. It's my sister-in-law.
Oh, okay. This is good stuff. So I don't know, Juby. At this juncture, I'm gonna go with some stats here, and I'm gonna say basically like, Toppings came in the second quarter and did a breakaway look like a dunk contest when he kind of put that thing between his legs. That was a highlight. I think the two highlights was that and Barrett's gameplay trying to make a comeback for us in that third quarter. Sabonis was floored after taking Randall's elbow to the throat, which is unnecessary in that second quarter. They reviewed it as a no call. They scored 70 first half points for the fifth time this season, improving to 8-6 at home. The Knicks go to Toronto Friday night. The Pacers host Dallas at Friday night. That Toronto game is dangerous again because Toronto is a much better team in my eyes compared to Indiana. Indiana has a talent, don't get me wrong. At this juncture, I have no confidence of them beating Toronto. I mean, that's me.
Remember, what's his name? Not Ibaka. What's the guy's name? Siakam. Siakam didn't play the last time the Knicks played the Raptors, and I don't know. And he's playing. He's back. Yeah. So we got Siakam playing. So listen, we're gonna have a tough, especially if we come like we did last night. We're gonna have a tough time. There's no excuses for it. And like I said, me personally, I'm tired of the same song. As like I said, it's like listening to Z100 and listening to that number one song every single day at the same exact time. And I'm tired of hearing, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror. We got to have more energy. Enough is enough. Just shut up and get to work. Otherwise, time to go.
So, Juby, I agree with that. It's the same song, and there have to be some. I think Leon Rose, the trading deadline, I see us as buyers. Getting someone and sellers too in terms of getting rid of the dead wood that we have here. But you always talk about points in the paint. Pacers, the Knicks interior defense was non-existent last night. They had 60 points in the paint. They shot 53% from the field, 37% from the 3-point range. The Pacers had 27 assists. They were moving the ball around, while the Knicks had a measly 17 assists.
That's what a true point guard does.
Bingo! You took the words right out of my mouth. So, and the Knicks had the biggest lead they had was 4 points, and 27-point lead was the highest for the Pacers. The Knicks. In every category you look here, fast break points, once again, the Pacers had 26. The Knicks had 16. And they had look, when you're shooting the way they were shooting, the 53% from the field, it's because the defense intensity was not there. You saw it last night. I mean, those numbers say it a lot. It just shows that the Knicks shot 30% from threes.
What were they? 11 for what? Oh, what were they exactly? Their numbers for threes?
9 for 30.
When you're at 9 for 20 or 9 for 9 for 20 is acceptable. 9 for 30, there's a problem. It really is.
Yeah,
too much.
Can we make the excuse back-to-back nights? Probably. I mean, I'm not saying they weren't tired, but you bring Obi, you let him play more time because Obi's not getting a lot of minutes. He's not tired. So if you're tired, sit down. Bring Obi in. Bring Grimes in.
Daddy?
You know what I mean, baby? Thank you. I don't think it's an excuse. I think over there, puppy. Taj Gibson is the only one, and he didn't even play the night before. Taj Gibson, Derrick Rose. I understand being tired. The guys they got miles. You know, that's like I'll give you an example, Ray. That's like me and you. We work 3 to 11, right? But then you got Batista or somebody else in their 20s. They're coming in. They got energy. Who's gonna be better that second day? Who's gonna be full of more energy? You or them. We're gonna be able to get it done, but the guy's gonna have more energy. So these kids like Obi Toppin, R.J. Barrett. There's no even Evan Fournier because I don't even Julius Randle's only 27. There's no excuse for you to sit there and say it's back-to-back nights. They don't have knee injuries. Julius Randle don't have back injuries. So I don't want to hear the excuses. Like I said before, to play here, you got to be made of a certain swag. And R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, and the young crew are the only ones right now who got that swag. Julius Randle, he looks like he belongs in New Jersey, in the suburbs. You don't know that he belongs in New York City.
Look, we can bash Randall, and you know something? A lot of it is not that fault. His fault. I think Tibb has a lot to be blamed for because when you give a player that much power, and he gives him a lot of power and a lot of leeway, you have to pull back that leash just a bit and tell him, "Oh, wait," and kind of institute Barrett more into the game plan. Barrett is not getting as much touches as obviously Randall is. You have to try to even that up a little bit more, or just give Barrett the ball and let Julius do what he does. Fake in like you're going to do the shot and just give it to the open guy. Give it to Barrett. It happened in San Antonio. What's Barrett? Barrett was just draining the threes. He's not going to always be hitting the threes, but at least you know that he can create his own shot at times, or he can shoot the outside shot. I'm just tired of seeing the same song, like you said, seeing Randall coming in, pump faking, and then doing his fade away or fall back. It's just tiresome. Look, we have a team that we have to get rid of some dead wood. I think Kemba is one of them, obviously. Knox. I would if I had a choice, I'm saying Julius to bash Julius, but like you said, if you can get a good trade for Julius, get some value for him, and then Fournier is not the answer there. You have to get a defensive 3 and D. You can have Grimes replace him. Grimes is a perfect person to resolve that issue for Fournier. But now, like you said, $19 million giving this guy a year. What team is going to go for a guy who doesn't play that defense you want and is an erratic shooter at best?
And his value is not where it should be, right? His value is better when coming off of Boston than it is right now. Everybody, remember, we get nationally televised. So what they saw from Evan Fournier is one good game at the beginning of the season when he had that breakout game. They're getting one night he's good, no defense. He got stomach. I ate a bad steak. This is what they're seeing. So they if I'm another team, I don't want to bring a guy like that. If I'm another team, I want a guy like Mitchell Robinson if he can stay healthy. Kemba Walker for his veteran leadership, I'll take. And don't be surprised if teams ask, listen, you want us to take Evan Fournier and Julius Randle? You need to throw in. You need to give us either take a bad contract or you need to give us Emmanuel quickly. Hate to say it. And I don't want that to happen because I like quick. But
it's the youth. You have to keep the youth. You have to keep the young guys here. All young guys.
Listen, to make this team relevant and to put us in the right direction, I don't even know if Quickly is expendable. Or maybe the other guy that you like who's starting point guard right now, Trey Burke. Right. Maybe you package a Burke because he's not a true point guard. He's doing all right, but I feel like he's better as a scorer than he is at facilitating the ball. Right now we have no starting point guard. Derrick Rose is our only really point guard who's playing right now. And it shows the difference between the Knicks and the Pacers. Like you said, 17 assists, 27 assists. You saw the pace of the game. You saw the ball movement. And it shows.
Yeah, when you don't have a point guard, like you mentioned, and you're counting on Julius Randle to be a point forward, obviously there's nights that it works and there's nights like tonight. Like it's one game up, one game down. Right now, the Knicks for me is probably they're at best a 7-8 seed for me right now because they're gonna be balancing it around that 500 mark.
Yeah.
And maybe things have changed along the way. Maybe you'll be one of those 8, 7 seeds that become dangerous at the end once you figure it out. That could happen. But then you're going to have to pay the top echelon teams. And you don't want to put yourself in that position. So I can see the Knicks. I'm not saying the Knicks are not going to make the playoffs. I think the Knicks are talented enough to make the playoffs. The question is what positioning they're going to end up. My take right now, they're 7-8 for me.
It's a tough one for me, man. I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna say right now, I see them battling for those. Remember, they came up with a new playoff bracket, so I see them fighting for that last two sneak-in playoff brackets, possibly. But it all depends on this right here. You know what I mean? If they don't come every night with this, you can be talented all you want. You can be a 25-point scorer. If you don't play with heart and you don't play with NBA smarts, it doesn't matter. Look at Westbrook, talented player, nut job, crazy. That hasn't worked out for him. Right now he's doing okay in LA, but it just comes to show you got to be NBA smart. You got to play with a lot of energy. You got to have a lot of heart, and it has to work. Like you said it a little while ago. Oil and vinegar don't mesh. And right now, Evan Fournier and this Julius Randle experiment and no point guard is just the same concept metaphor. It's not working. Like I said, there's a reason I have this back here. I don't know how long I can keep it on here because recycling is coming. Garbage day is on Tuesdays. I got to get rid of this garbage.
I mean, I know you sound frustrated. I don't really think you really mean that, but I know where you're coming from. But at this juncture, Randall has the heart, but he doesn't have the smarts.
Nope.
That's the once he figures this up out here, he can be an elite player in this league.
He can,
but because he has the heart and he has the strength as a line, smarts. He thinks how many technicals he has gotten already this year.
I think he's up there. I think he's up there. He's looking like Ron Artest.
Like yelling at referees and no, man. Yell at yourself and kind of compose yourself, man. Kind of block all that out. But that's the smart part of the game that he doesn't have yet. Eventually, he'll get that. Hopefully, he'll be with the Knicks, or hopefully, he'll be another team. I think he's a talented player. I think right now, he's not the type of player for the Knicks.
Agreed.
And with that said, Juby, the Knicks will be on Friday. I don't know if you have anything else to say before they depart. I have really nothing else to say. The only thing I want to mention is that we had a Kevin Knox outing yesterday that was so desperate. He was in there for about 4 minutes of the game, and they have to. What happened to Jericho Sims? Is he still injured? I hear he's injured.
Listen, sometimes they put him on injured lists because they don't want to. They want to keep him on the roster. So
yesterday, yeah.
It may not be an injury. They just have to make it look like that he hasn't. It may be a little strain, and he can play, but because they want to keep the rotation small, they'll put him on the injured list. I don't think there should be no reason that man didn't play.
McBride played. He had 4 points. You know,
McBride. What did Grimes do?
What's that?
Grimes. What did he do?
He had 4 minutes of play and he had 3 points. Look, these guys are our future. Grimes, McBride, Topping, quickly. You know, you can have a veteran as a Burks here and there, whatever. But Topping has to get more playing time. You're right, man. Yeah, it makes more sense of what you said before. He had 20 minutes of play. He had 13 points. Randall had 31 minutes of play, and he had 18 points. You give those 31 minutes to Topping,
he can do the same thing.
He'll be 25, 26 points easily.
Yeah. So that's why I think, in my opinion, Julius Randle right now, along maybe with Mitchell Robinson, is the expendable pieces right now for the right price.
Yeah, too bad the Knicks assigned him to that contract. Too bad you didn't do some kind of 1 year, one option, something like that. But I think he wanted the bag, and that's why he took it. He said, "What, you offer me that? I'll take it." He didn't think, because they kind of low valued him a little bit, and he took it. And he wasn't dumb, obviously. So he took the bag and ran. And also Fournier. Nobody was offering Fournier that type of money.
Nobody.
Out of nowhere.
For that, you should have offered Lonzo Ball that money. Like I said, I know we don't like Lonzo Ball, but you should have give Lonzo. That would have been your point guard. Give him $20 million, and then you could have had Alex Burke as your shooting guard or R.J. Barrett, and you would have been in a better situation. Look at Chicago, what they're doing right now with Lonzo Ball and DeMarcus DeRozan and Levine.
Yeah, Marcus DeRozan. Imagine if you would have gave that money to him instead of Randall.
And from what I'm hearing, Leon Ross wanted him, or one of them wanted him. Scott Perry or somebody wanted
Yeah.
DeRozan, and somebody didn't want to give him the money for it. So
Well, look, we could talk all day, all night, Juby. Look, we're gonna be on Friday after the game against
yeah,
Toronto. Let's pray and hope that the Knicks kind of figure this out. They'll have a couple of nights to rest, or a day to rest, um, and hopefully the Knicks will come bounce back. The next game is crucial. I mean, all the times when you go under 500, you have to make a run. So tonight or Friday night's game is important. Toronto is a tough team. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Knicks can pull that game out if they are running off cylinders. With that said, Juby, you have any last departing words to our Knick Nation?
I look forward to speaking with you all tomorrow. Hopefully, my wife doesn't get too upset with the smell that's happening behind me. And like I said, hopefully I can get rid of this. And we got some positive stuff tomorrow. But just let's see what happens, man. Go New York, go New York, go. Like I said, I know we talk sometimes and we get frustrated, and it's just because we want the best, nothing but the best.
All right, Juby, with that said, let the universe enlighten us and our Knick Nation and the Knicks organization having love, peace, and enlightenment, knowing that the best is yet to come. Juby, Zenray
Later, brother.
out. Take care of yourself and have a great, great day.
You too, brother. Enjoy your day. All right, guys, that was Zenray with Zenray Sports TV. He said it, man. Next couple of games is gonna be crucial tomorrow night, especially. We'll see what happens. Like I said, hopefully I could change the trash behind me, because it's just not working. And yeah, so we got Toronto Raptors tomorrow night. Hopefully we can come out with a victory. With that said, I am Juby the Tubi, and you were here with Family Above Everything. As always, stay safe